This week on Wonderworld Comics, I'm going to show you how with a little bit of storage space, you can save product until it's hot instead of blowing it out when it's not. So I have about 1,000 of these boxes. These are boxes that I put away from inventory 5 years ago. We're going to put some of these boxes on the table here. We're going to go through, see what I have. I'll explain why I held these books, why I over-ordered them at the time, and what the benefit of saving these for all these years versus blowing them out in a $1 box or a quarter box like a lot of the dealers do. Every one of these boxes weighs 50 pounds, so you definitely need to get yourself in shape before you start putting together 1,000 of these boxes to store. So let's start digging. All right, right off the bat, Spawn number 1. Every retailer has a different opinion about this book. I have kept every copy that has ever come into my store. I never blew these out, never sold these in $1 boxes. These books are something that broke all the molds as far as comic books go. They sold over 1 million of them, but just recently, in the last 4 to 5 years, the book has gone from a $10 regular selling book, for me, up to a $40 or $50 book online. It's crazy. We're going to pull that one out. Let's keep digging. These blank covers are great. People take them to conventions. They get sketches on them of from their favorite artists. I always keep these. Never know what's on the back of these. Sometimes, any collection I get, I keep a lot of the stuff just to make sure I'm not getting rid of something really good. When you go through these every 5 years like I do, you kind of have to have your finger in the wind to see what's selling right now. So, like right now, Doom Patrol just came out on one of the TV series. I think it's DC Plus, or whatever DC's subscription service is. So these are all the post-Grant Morrison stuff. Not a lot of hits right now, but it's never going to get better than it is right now. Mercy Sparks. This is a book created by a couple buddies of mine. It's not hitting yet, but I think this is one of those books that's going to blow up, and that's why I keep it. Not ready yet. The people who are buying these for us is Amazon collectors who, like I explained before, it's somebody sitting with a gold card, sitting at their office desk going, you know what, I don't want to deal with any bullshit at Amazon, or I don't want to deal with any bullshit at eBay. I want to find somebody who has a great feedback on Amazon, and luckily for us, we maintain a pretty high feedback. This book right here, this book is starting to heat up. Young Avengers. It stars a lot of the lesser known heroes in the Marvel Universe, and it's a lot of the people who are just now getting hints that they might have a show down the line. So we're going to pull those out for right now, because I think they're going to be hitting real soon. Here's some more of these. These are all variants. We're never going to get this in the cinematic universe until they start integrating X-Men, but at some point we may get Avengers vs. X-Men the movie. And more Doom Patrol. Now this actually is some of the Grant Morrison Doom Patrol. This is the gold standard as far as Doom Patrol stories. We're going to keep all of these and pull them out. There's certain creators who, when I see their name on a book, Garth Ennis, Steve Dillon, I keep it until you never know what it's going to turn into down the line. And that is an iconic cover. It throws back to Spider-Man 300, and it pretty much sells whenever we put them on Amazon. So I'm going to put that out. So that's one box down, and I got a nice stack of stuff. Let's move on to the next box. A lot of people ask me why I chose comic books. Well, I was a comic book reader from the age of 13 years old up through about 25 years old. I had a pretty decent collection. I enjoyed them. I loved them. But I had no desire to sell them. We had plenty of comic book shops around then. Then in the late 90s, those comic book shops started disappearing. And I still was considered to be a relatively popular toy seller. So we were going to open a comic book shop, or we were going to open a toy shop, but at that time there really wasn't a dedicated toy shop. Comic books are kind of the umbrella for all geekdom and men who don't want to grow up, toy collectors. So I decided to open a comic book shop as the umbrella to sell my toys and my other collectibles. I don't think you should jump into it unless you have a love and a passion for multiple years about comic books. You really can't just jump into it and know what you're going to buy by following any kind of suggestion from, experts or whatnot. So as I go through these, John Carpenter's Asylum. So as I go through these comic books, I see a lot of stuff that hasn't hit yet. This box was kind of a dud. So when I bought all these books, they cost about $3 to $4 a piece. So I have about $1.50 to $2 into every book that's in these boxes. I have bought collections from stores that went out of business where I got them for way cheaper. But for the most part, all of this stuff I paid roughly $1 a piece for at some point in time. That was before there was Netflix, before there was Amazon Prime, before there was Hulu, before Disney bought Marvel for $4 billion. This is at the point of time when Wesley Snipes was Blade, when X-Men 2, when Ben Affleck was Daredevil. There was no huge spike in any of these prices from stuff like that. Right now, we're seeing a point in time when this stuff is becoming relatively astronomically more expensive than the $1 investment to $2 investment that I made 15 years ago. You really have to have a passion for this because nobody could predict what this stuff could become. You had to have a gut instinct on this is worth more than $1. This is worth more than a quarter. And then you put time and patience into it, it can turn into more than a quarter. This is a book I just found in here. These were $7.99 a piece. Lock and Key Alpha. You might not recognize the name. That's Joe Hill. This is Stephen King's son. He is the writer of one of the most popular series in comic books, Lock and Key. This is getting picked up for a show. It's actually had 3 pilots done for it, I think. But it's going to eventually hit. There's no sense in blowing out this book I paid $4 for $1 or less. I'll hold on to it. I'll keep it. Eventually, this could be a $20, $30, $40 book because every dealer who's ever had this has probably dumped it already. Oh, right here. Okay, this is the reason I keep these boxes. This is The Boys. A lot of you have never heard of The Boys. Right now, The Boys are going to be an Amazon Prime show starting, I think, in July. This is the raunchiest, rawest comic book interpretation ever. I'm telling you, it's going to blow your minds. I have probably 4 boxes full of these, and we'll be finding them over the next couple weeks. Oh yeah. This stuff is amazing. So I've been looking for these just recently to make sure I have them all set for when the show comes out. And this is the first box that I found them in. So when I bought these, DC Comics had released the first 6 issues. The stuff they were doing in this book was so out there that DC Comics was like, yeah, we're a little uncomfortable with the stuff you're doing in your book. Immediately, another publisher said, we'll publish it. And they got the rights through the creator, Garth Ennis, to bring the book over to theirs. They continued it. They never republished the first 6 issues except for in trade paperback form. Those came from DC Comics Direct. Everything else is in very short print run through Dynamite. And much like Umbrella Academy, when this book hits the air and people start seeing how crazy this is, they're going to absolutely flip. It's got Carl Urban in it. You're going to love this series. And I have a nice quantity of these books I saved before there was ever a Netflix or an Amazon Prime to show a TV show on. This stuff is good today with time and patience. It's good tomorrow. If you've got the time and you got a place to store it, don't blow this stuff out. Build an inventory. Inventory is the one thing you can't buy whenever you want of old stuff. Thanks for joining us here at Wonderworld Comics. We're going to have another video next week. Join us and go to wonderworldcomics.com/Amazon or check out our eBay page, Wonderworld Comics and Toys. Thanks for joining us.